Hey guys, welcome to another session of RBTL, or Reading Between the Lines. So we have Guild War regular season open. It seems that by the date of this is scheduled to be on a Saturday. So the point of this recording, it starts on the Guild War standby. So on the next Guild War, so the week after this starts. So I think the timing for all the resets and stuff are still going to be the same as it was before in preseason. Now, if you are, I would say, an older player and you have been doing Guild Wars for quite a while, I would say that this patch note, especially regarding the Guild War patch, is not that exciting. To be honest, when I first read this, I was really shocked at some of the changes. I think they're changing the Guild War system to be even more competitive, but very toxic. This will be different for from guild to guild, depending how they run the guild, how they strategize. But there's a lot of stuff that I don't like about this new patch. I'm gonna say that right away. Whether Smilegate likes this or not, I don't really care. I'm speaking for the players, from the player's perspective. Now, of course, if you have a different perspective, leave it in the comments below. But I don't think that this a lot of these changes are that good, especially during the Guild War, pertaining to the Guild Wars. The same thing. So 3 vs 3 format, that remains the same. The defense and offensive teams must have at least 16 teams in order to participate. Prior to this, in the preseason, we had a minimum of 20. Minimum of 20, maximum of 28. And they still haven't fixed that problem on the maximum part. I kind of get why they're doing it, but in my opinion, they really got to fix that. Because if a guild can take more than 30 players, you got to allow the opportunity for all the players to join in the Guild War. Otherwise, they're going to miss out on Mystic medals, which is the primary reward doing Guild Wars. But now they lowered the limit, so now guilds are possibly going to run up to 28, but a minimum of 16. So I think 16 is a bit low, but we're gonna kind of look at the HP that you get for the difference of players on your team in a bit. So the defense team was set to have defense. Yeah, you have to have a defense in your stronghold, just like preseason. Auto assign function has been added. I'm gonna give them positive comments when positive ones are merited. This one's definitely a positive. I'm usually the one setting the teams. I do have vice captains in my guild, which if I forget, which I sometimes do forget, or I fall asleep, my vice captains come and set the teams for me. What's good about this is now that the auto assign function doesn't just auto assign based on the CP, which made no sense before, because basically, let's say if you're in a Red Hammer Fortress, you click auto assign, it takes all the highest CP players and slaps it in that one fort, and there's no way to kind of spread it around. So the auto assign function, I don't think anyone used it, to be honest. If you took GVG seriously, you don't use it. But now it actually takes your previous assignment, which is good, because that way you can just literally say if you want to stick with the same strategy, click the auto assign and you're done. It definitely saves a lot of time. Now obviously that does ideally you would be in a guild that has constant guild communication. So let's say if one of my guildmates saying that, hey Jagan, I've changed out my defense team, then at least I can look at his defense team. Maybe he has different heroes that is better spread out to other forts, and then maybe I can take auto assign as a basis, and then swap 1 or 2 players around based on their new defense teams or whatnot. So it's very good all around. So yeah, this the inconvenience of having individually assigned each member has been greatly reduced, which is exactly that's a good thing. It's a very good thing. But and then onto the negative. So this portion here, stronghold, defense tower, and tower. So generally, when I'm chatting with my guildmates, I have different lingo. I call towers defense towers, and then the tower I call fort, because the fortress is the last standing thing, or the tower is the last standing thing in a fort. So I usually say that's a fort, but I kind of get it. My language is off. So anyways, the stronghold is obviously the one with the 1 out of 1. So Black Soul Stronghold. Usually in preseason, if you took that out, that guild wins. Whichever guild takes out the stronghold first, that guild wins, and then it defaults to the amount of Havoc Gain. There seems to be some change mechanic on that as well. But regardless, stronghold now on a difference of 12 people. So this thing kind of confused me as well, the language. Difference of 12 people. I don't know if that meant like the maximum capacity of the people running in your guild, or the difference between the other guild, like the opposing guild. Your HP is different now. So it used to be 600. Now on regular for the stronghold specifically is now 1440. Again, I'm not 100% sure what that difference means. But anyways, we get a difference in also the defending towers, but the regular towers don't have anything. So, okay, so Daisuke is just confirmed. So it's the difference between the amount of players from the two guilds, right? Right. So he said, yeah, so it's the 28 max minus 16 is 12 people. So yeah, the difference is between that. So, in preseason, we had that people called it I don't know, exploit, I guess, where you run lower guildmates versus like someone who has more guild members, and then they would require more Havoc to taking out your towers. But now with the new system, actually that doesn't really apply. Yes, you get more HP, but it doesn't seem like it applies as heavily as before. So I think that was their way to kind of fix that problem, I think. The thing is about the tower is that it's the exact same though. So realistically, you if you do run, let's say a low number player, let's say if you run 16, yes, it might be more difficult to take out your defense tower, but apparently now it doesn't even matter if they get a win or a draw. They'll just take out your tower regardless. So that's interesting. We'll have to see what kind of calculations we get, depending on how much Havoc they can actually wreak. How much HP they could take out per guild crest used. That's what it's called now. It is called guild crest. I've been calling them tokens on the Discord, so it's my bad. So 3 out of 3 guild crest. So all battles that take 3-for-3 format, 2 rounds. So that's the same. Consume 1 guild crest. Now we get some new reward called the Commander's Armband, not Brave Crest. We'll talk about that later because there's some speculation I have there. So instead of Brave Crest, you get Commander's Armband. It could be good or not. I'm not 100% sure on that yet. After each round, the HP of the attack building is reduced no matter if the defense was successful or not. So now my question is, how much HP does each attack take? That's my question for this HP list, right? So now the Havoc, I don't know. I'm not quite sure. The HP is obviously greater if you have a more difference in the amount of players opposing each other. But then, how much like HP are you taking out per? So no, it doesn't matter if the defense was successful or not. So that's very different. It's very more. It's more. I would say this format is a lot more aggressive. Definitely not for the faint of heart. It's definitely not for the faint of heart. Additional Havoc is awarded for destroying the building. So I was talking about this on stream before I started making the recording. Of course, we are live here. I don't like this. The reading of this seems to be that then people now can time themselves to just attack when a tower is about to go down, because it no longer requires skill, right? If you attack it, you're gonna chip away at the HP. So are we going to get players in the guild that that just wait? It's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna wait, or they don't even say it. They just hide, right? They just hide. It's like, oh yeah, I'm conveniently available to now knock down this tower, knock down this defense tower, knock down the stronghold here, because I just got off work or something. But they turned out to be the last one. Are we gonna get that kind of game here? for my guild, I'm gonna say right now, if my guildmates are listening, if this is the way it works, I'm gonna be observing what you guys are doing, and then be strict about that for sure. It's just to me like this way of doing it is not requiring skill, but just requiring timing. I don't know, man. It's just, especially now the awards are better. But then of course that kind of goes to show that if, like, does that mean there's a problem in my guild in the terms of like you selecting players? But let's just face it. Even if you weren't, even if you're a player and you're in a guild and you weren't trying to like be like a sniper and like snipe out a tower, is it possible that your guildmates may assume you are? You know, like this thing kind of like, I don't know. It's like tearing us up from the inside, man. It's not good. You know, and you know, am I speculating this because, you know, Jagan has no hope for humanity? All right, let's just face it. Speculations are gonna happen if this is exactly how I'm predicting it to be. All right, we're gonna have speculation. People are gonna be like, Actually, I'll just put it out there because I mean, my guildmates are on the stream too. When we were doing the, like, you already gain a bit more Havoc, and everyone knew that more Havoc equals more Mystic medals, even in preseason. There were some players that were just conveniently taking out, you know, towers when other people have gone, right? So it, you know, it depends, but some guildmates have raised up to me in private messages, hey, this player is doing this, and I've observed it and it turned out to be true. So how much worse would it be now? Huh? I really don't know why they changed it. Like, does this actually enhance the Guild Wars feature? I really just think that it makes it more aggressive. I understand Smilegate wants to do it, but to be honest, let's roll this back a bit. Before they do all these like changes to PvP content, like Arena, Guild Wars, they really have to change the way the Mystic summons, like for ML 5-star specifically, or Moonlight Heroes like pulls specifically. They have to fix that right now because that's the main like problem in the PvP. Like, the entirety of PvP for Epic 7 right now is the Moonlight Heroes. The Moonlight Heroes are too overpowered, are too valuable for PvP content, that for players, you know, I'm not just being salty here, alright? I'm not just being salty here, but I can speak on behalf of players who have not gotten lucky getting good Moonlight Heroes. You guys know that it's very demoralizing to do GVG, especially if you're facing top guilds in the game, to do Arena if you don't have some sort of like better way to counter like a team like of 4 5-star MLs. I get it. People spend money or they're really lucky and they got it. It's good. But I'm speaking on just the entire economy itself. I'm not saying to revoke or remove the 5-star heroes from those players. They can keep them. They got lucky. They spent the money. They deserve them. It's fine. But for the players who don't get them, this is a really big problem. So instead of fixing a real problem for balancing, they actually make the PvP system more toxic. At least that's the way I'm reading this. Now I could be wrong, but that's the way I'm reading this. All right. So the total Havoc gain determined on the winner of the Guild War. I kind of like this change. So instead of them rushing to the stronghold, you will know the result at the very end of the war. So instead of like a guild who is like very, very talented, they take out 2 fortresses, go straight for the stronghold, and then they just win in like the first like 20 minutes of the reset. Now you have to wait to the end of the Guild War to know who actually wins. Because sometimes, you know, people have jobs. If you're playing on the global server, you're living on different sides of the world. Maybe you're not awake at the reset, right? Whereas people in Asia, if you're playing on a global server, people in Asia or on not at the North American side, they have the benefit of waking up and then they just do it, right? They just do the Guild War. They can rush your stronghold. So I kind of like this aspect. Havoc gain is determined. The total Havoc gain is determined on the winner of the Guild War, right? So that's good. Determines the winner of the Guild War. Sorry, I read it wrong. So yes. So the more Havoc you have, that's the sole way of winning the guild war. I like that aspect a lot. That's a good change, positive one. This is kind of nice to have, just seeing like how many guild crests have been used up to that point. This is kind of nice to have as well. It's just like a very little like statistics thing. I wish we can watch the replay. Hopefully that's a function that Smilegate is looking into, because watching a replay will allow the player to learn a lot. And it's not an exploit, because like learning from one team doesn't mean that your defense will work on another team, you know? So it just gives more resources for the players to get better at it. And so you know, if Smilegate is all about, you know, let's get people into PvP to sell the game, really. Give us those kind of features so we can get better at it based on strategy, not based on our luck, right? No matter the result, the player who participates in guild will receive Mystic Medals as a reward. So this is kind of good as well. So participants will receive the Mystic Medals, which we already sort of already have that. Additional Mystic Medals are awarded depending on the amount of Havoc the player has earned, as well as the results of the offensive and defensive battles. Now, depending on the Havoc the player has earned is good, but also bad. So when we just talked about that, you get more Havoc for knocking down a tower, but then no matter how much attack, like even if you get like full attack loss, you're still chipping down the HP. So this can be bad in the sense that what we're talking about, those scavengers in your guild waiting to get the last blow, they're gonna get more Havoc, equivalent to more Mystic Medals. Yes, one can say that, oh yeah, maybe it's just 1 or 2 Mystic Medals, but hey, that kind of stuff adds up, right? Let's say you do 10 guild wars and you consistently do that. That's at least over the 10 guild wars, you have at least like one full pull over the rest of your guildmates. That's like one full summon over the rest of your guildmates. That's a really big difference. So you're saying that, oh, it's 1 or 2, but it's actually not a small, it's not an insignificant thing, as well as the results of the offensive and defensive battles. So now, successful defensive victory, players will receive additional 2 Mystic Medals. Defensive tie will get additional 1. This way is encouraging again for players to work on their defense teams, but again, let's put it in a realistic fashion here. If it was me, okay, so I will admit this right now, I have one of the worst defenses in my guild because I don't have a 5-star ML hero. Now, yes, there are a lot of good like defensive heroes that are not ML based, but still, let's just be realistic here. You have ML Baal, you have ML Araminta. That does most of the cleanup, right? The only way people could usually beat that is with a speed team, and you know it's not easy, right? So if you have those two heroes on a defense team, you're gonna get most likely more wins, so more Mystic Medals. Okay, so that's fine. It's based on your luck, based on how much you wailed potentially. The other thing is that Rare Ruby, which one of my guildmates, he mentioned on the stream. The other thing is that now if you place a player in in like the stronghold, for example, you have more HP, right? You have more HP innately, which means more defense, like possible defense ties or defense wins, right? So the more HP you have, the more possible Mystic Medals you can have. And the other thing is then people who are placed in the, let's say I'm placed in Salvation Fortress this week, and they don't reach me at all. Like they don't, the guild has no way of reaching me. Then I don't get the Mystic Medals either. So it's really, I feel that now more than ever, Guild War is about how can we get, like, how can an individual get the most Mystic Medals? Arguably, it was sort of like that before, but it now feels like it's even more so, which I think that leads to some sort of toxic gameplay. Now, maybe I'm a bit overreacting. Because no one likes change. especially if it sounds like it's for the worst. But I didn't mind the way it was before. It felt like they didn't fix what were the problems in the previous in the preseason, but they added more problems or more headaches. I will say this though, give me 1 or 2 wars and we're just gonna get used to it, to be honest. But let my mark my words that what I was talking about, those speculations and stuff, you're going to have 1 or 2 players, because people are people, all right? Humans are humans. Have 1 or 2 people really like looking at those tower snipers, right? We're going to have that, right? It's not avoidable. But good on you guys with guild with complete peace, no drama. That's really good. That's really good. It's really funny. It's like people watching this video is like, okay, now we know how Dragon's guild functions. I don't want to join his guild anymore. GG, man, GG. All right, so this is, yeah, so you get a war result too, personal. Kind of good, where you can get like a breakdown of what your final result is. Jagan spilling the real tea. Yeah, Naomi. Totally. No, I just say this right now, that our guild is awesome, all right? Yeah, anyways. I have a nickname. They call me the Dictator. But I think most of them still love me. Right, guys? Yeah, you get a final breakdown. I like this. You know, I just didn't know where your Mystic Meadows are coming from. It's very nice. All right, so here, I was a bit panicking when I saw this. All right. Generally, if you guys are, watching my videos, you know that I don't panic easily. When it comes to PvP and the way they changing the stuff, I don't know. This is a pretty big one. When I looked at this screenshot, I panicked a bit. I'm like, wait. Does that mean they're removing Molagora and even the Terra Phantasma from this? You can take a look at the Commander's Armband in the shop. So both currencies are used, based on this screenshot. Both currencies are used. Epic Catalysts you can get with the Commander's Armband. I don't think anyone's going to really be using that until you finish your Proof of Valor. We're going to talk about that in a bit. But Commander's Armband, realistically, at the end of the day, if this is it, if this is the full shop list, I think Epic Catalyst would be the only thing worth from this. Unless you want to, bank on some rare catalyst, I guess. It seems that the catalyst chest, so the one that we have currently in the preseason, is still there, purchasable with the same amount of Brave Crests. Now, the only thing that, while I was saying I was panicking, is because if you look at your shop right now in game, before the patch, the Mola and the Terra Phantasma is on top of the list. Even after you purchase them, they're on top of the list. Now, after thinking about this, after someone on stream said, oh, maybe they're on the bottom, maybe this isn't the full list, I thought of one of the recent changes they did to the Conquest shop, so the arena shop, whereas after you purchase something that was not purchasable for anymore, at least for the time being, they get swapped to the bottom of the list. So that kind of gave me a sigh of relief. So maybe they're not removed. They didn't say they're removing it, so I'm assuming they're not removed. But when I saw this at first, I was like, whoa. You're giving us a semi-meh artifact for no Molagora? I was gonna go into a fit, but no, I think we're gonna still have them. I think we're gonna still have them. Hopefully, yeah, they didn't mention it. Yeah, they didn't mention it. So hopefully it's not removed. Hopefully it's not removed. Oh yeah, and the raid ticket, right. The Labyrinth Compass, right, I forgot. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're on the bottom. Right, guys? No idea why they would take a screenshot like this though, But I'm pretty sure they must have added the function where that the bot stuff is on the bottom of the list. That has to be the case. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt for that one. So 5-star artifact, Proof of Valor, you get 6, up to 6, so you can max this out. So this is sort of okay. It's not locked to a certain class, which is good. Decreases damage taken up to 30%. So at a max 30 plus 30 enhancement, you get a taken of 30% reduction there. The effect decreases by 3% with each attack suffered, down to 15%. So realistically, after 5 turns, rather 5 attacks. So if you have like dual attacks proccing and stuff, that gets reduced really quick. You get up to a 15% damage reduction, which is still good. And only the strongest damage reduction effect is applied. So I believe that this does not, based on how this is read, this does not stack with something like Aureus. I think it only doesn't stack with Aureus. I think this would stack with C. Armin's passive, and I think this would obviously work with Adamant Shield to reduce crit chance on your hero. So for first turn, I don't know, for first turn nukes, it could be okay, I guess. Now the only thing is, what I like about this is that on the initial turn all the way down to 15. So let's say if you have an Aureus at 20%, all right, you have Aureus at a 20%, you have a tank with Aureus, 20% reduction in the damage. Based on the reading of this, the 30% would be applied. So this artifact would be applied all the way down to under 20%. So by the time it hits 18% attack suffered, then Aureus would be applied, which could be interesting if you have both artifacts on the same team. And obviously, yeah, it says this here, the artifact can only be applied to one hero within the party. So there's absolutely no reason to keep multiple copies of this. You would basically want to fuse all 6 copies, get it to max limit broken, and then maybe max enhance it if you plan to use it. Right now, based on what I was just talking about with the Aureus kind of like not stacking and then stacking, I don't know how I would use this, to be honest, because it's a single target thing. A lot of the crazy meta right now is cleaving. So unless it's like a very squishy hero you're trying to keep alive for like a turn 2 or something, maybe it will work. Another way that this could work is if you're bringing let's use this example. Let's use like Fighter Maya. Alright, Fighter Maya, for an example, you're facing a Spectre Tenebria team. So the Spectre Tenebria is AI. Spectre Tenebria will go aggro on Light Elemental, will go aggro on F Maya. If your F Maya was debuffed a lot, let's say Dizzy goes and then A-Cart goes, you got a defense break on, and you got all those debuffs, she can't cleanse that in time, right? She can't cleanse that in time. And Spectre Tenebria gets her turn before like you have an AoE cleanser or something like that. This artifact could come in handy. Reducing 30% damage taken is a straight up damage mitigation. So even if you have a 70% defense break, which is the defense break, 70% of your defense is removed from your total defense, a 30% damage reduction can save you. So it could be good in some instances, I think, but it's definitely not one of those artifacts. It's just like, oh my goodness, it's so broken. It's not going to be broken. Especially, I think on a defense team, it's not going to be broken. At the end of the day, if you enter a defense team with someone with Proof of Valor, you most likely be able to see their artifact relatively quickly and then just switch targets. If you're going a single target nuking type of team. Anyways, long rant. That this artifact doesn't work against cleave teams for one character like a Wildred. No, Sheath, it doesn't really work. It doesn't really work. Based on the reading of this, if this is applied before Aureus, I would rather have Aureus be... It depends on the team you're running. It can work. If you're running, let's say, like a mage, like a squishy-ish mage, with like 2 tanks and 1 healer, or 2 healers and 1 tank or something, this could work. Like, realistically, it could work, but it's not like super broken, but it's a nice to have. It's a nice to have. It adds a bit more thinking into our the way we set up our teams and stuff, I think. But like I said, I think that F Maya example is like the extreme scenario, and I would say that I would run this on F Maya, given some GVG fights, Anyways, I'm gonna kind of go through this really quick. We don't need to like go in depth because there's not much to discuss here. Optional stages are open, so you get 2. So yeah, there's a more story, which is good for us. More stuff to grind. Move down. Mola improvements. So Mola improvements reduced, really good, 12 to 18%. The 3 stars, 4 stars, and the 5 stars. I was saying that this compared to the previous Mola refund, I'm personally not gonna see that much, and the reason is because it's obviously that, like, you know, like a skill with a +1 to +2 may not even get affected by this change. It's most likely from the most expensive skills downwards that this change is applied. So I'm probably not going to get too much because most of my 5-star heroes, which are the ones I usually invest in, maybe some 4-star, but mostly 5-star heroes, invested in the skill. Most of my skills are like +3, right? For the, like, the reduction of the cooldown or something like that, unless they're like a nuker that I need like some increased damage. So I'm not going to see too much. My estimate is that based on this refund this time, I'm probably going to see maybe only like, I don't know, like 5 to 10 Molagora. Definitely not as much as the previous refund, which was like, I got like about like 40, 48-ish back. Which was really hype, but whatever, I'll take it. It's still good, but it means going forward that these heroes are going to get the reduction amount, so you won't need that many Mola to invest into your heroes to fully max their skills, which is a good thing for everyone. So it's very nice. I was joking before I made the recording on this that like did they remove the from the member shop, the guild member shop, did they remove the Molagora seed there because they're giving us a cost reduction? But no, I'm just kidding. It was the yeah. Other quality of life changes, which is nice to have. Finally, we get our charms in the other tab. So no longer in the equipment tab, which means that we have a bit more slots. So that means charms now you can hoard galore, right? You can hoard to your heart's content and only use them when you want, and you don't have to ever worry about like, oh, okay, crap, I have no more slots left. Time to like roll this random gear that may have potential, but I may not be too into it. And then you put some charms in there, but now it's all in the other section, so it's really good. Molagora, you'll be able to see it also in this other section. Another thing is just this one, the number of charms available. So if you have 2 charms here, instead of like stacking it down the list, you'll see them in one slot. So I'm assuming it's going to be per charm type. So the greater charms or the epic charms will have their own slots with the according amount, the number showing the according amount that you have. I think that's going to be the way it works. But you know, this one is not as exciting as like this. This opens up a lot more box space for most of us who are struggling with slots. It's nice to have. The summon thing is interesting as well. This, to me, the timing. So improvements have been made to the time at which Biblica and Biblio appear when a 5-star hero artifact is summoned. It doesn't say that, you know, it's been delayed or, you know, sped up or whatever, but I think that it's gonna be delayed so that the anticipation for pulling is gonna be greater. So instead of seeing them right away, it's just like, oh, it's a 5-star, it's a 5-star. You're gonna be like, oh no, it looks like it's gonna be a 3-star. Oh wait, it's gonna be a 4-star. Oh, it's a 5-star. It's gonna build up more hype, I suppose. I think for for me, I'm gonna enjoy that a lot. But animation has also been added for summoning a 4 to 5-star artifact. Not sure what that will look like. You also have a little change here to remind you what type of summon you're doing. So continue with Covenant summon, kind of nice to have. And also you can turn off that prompt that says, do you want to summon again? To be honest, I think I'm gonna keep it on for myself, and I'm not gonna skip the animations for those animations, the summon animations. I'm not gonna skip them. I like it. I think it adds more flair to what is already well, decently boring, I suppose. Decently boring pulling. If you're pulling 3 stars all day, it's gonna drive you insane. So you're gonna want that 4-star, 5-star animation, I think. Buff duration for the guild is increased to 12 hours. This is interesting. I was looking at this before and I didn't to read Mystic medals. So you can now use the proof of courage, using in the captain shop, to buy 50 energy per day, 30, okay? But with 300, if you get the guild supply chest for 300, you can get this once per week. So instead of Stigma, you get Mystic Meadows. So this is gonna be good. I wonder what everyone in my guild would vote for. But I'm gonna put this up to a vote later on Discord. In the sense that, like, do you guys want the proof of courage on the energy? Because I was talking to the stream before I made this recording. Our guild, at least the way we do it, because you run hunt so much that you don't really get a lot of proof of courage. So proof of courage for newer players, you usually get them from urgent missions or urgent quests, urgent missions. But you can only prompt the urgent missions if you are farming like the side story or like the regular story. So like the adventure, or even now the what's it called? The untold history or something, unrevealed history or something like that. It is the one that we used to call a world difficulty. You can only get it through those means. So unless you're farming that all day, which really lowers your progress, you're not gonna get a lot of proof of courage. So now with this in the mix, and Mystic Meadows, even though it's RNG, you know, I'm curious how much you can get. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be like 6 or 7, kind of like hunt drops. I'm pretty sure. Oh yeah, thank you. Unrecorded history. Thank you, Naomi. You get a shout out there. So bad. It's like untold, unrevealed. I just go through every single word and then never get to untold, unrecorded. Yeah, so I'm not sure how people are gonna play out. I would probably say that you know, I'll wait for like Reddit, how much Mystic Meadows you can get before we decide on that, I think. Because energy is pretty good. Energy is not bad to have. And limited once per day, I don't know. We might not even be able to do that. I think if we do it per day for our guild, we're still going to run out of proof of courage. I don't think we're getting 30 a day as a guild. So anyways, no nerf to Automaton Tower. So for those of you who are stuck on Automaton Tower floor 100 like myself, I think we just gotta, you know, dig deep, use the gold, re-gear our heroes, and then we can do it. Everything else, I think that's pretty much it. I think that's all I wanted to touch upon. So the big patch update, of course, is the guild, right? Guild Wars, seemingly to me, becoming possibly more toxic. And even if you guys are thinking that this is not toxic, in my opinion, it's not better. So it's kind of like, you know, taking 2 steps back, in my opinion. So, you know, depending on how what you guys think about this, you know, let me know in the comments down below. Are you kind of meh about it because maybe you don't even do GVG, maybe it doesn't pertain to you as much? I don't think there's nothing to be furious about. I don't think we need to go to that kind of level, but I'm definitely not excited. The only thing excited for this is probably like the Malagora refund. That's pretty much it, for me at least. And the slot increased, so because of the charms. Anyways, I'm going to end this here. This has been another session of Reading Between the Lines. If you guys have Discord, check out the Discord server. Follow me on Twitter. And subscribe to YouTube if you haven't. As always, thank you guys for watching. And I will see you guys on the next one.